Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the top 10 weirdest stories missing people told when they were found. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that'll make you question everything. So grab your snacks, turn down the lights, and get ready to be creeped out. Some of this stuff is seriously unsettling. Our first story takes us deep into the woods where things always seem to get a little strange. We're talking about a guy who just vanished. Gone. Poof. For years, his family and friends had no idea what happened to him. Then, one day, out of nowhere, he stumbles out of the woods, looking like he's seen some things. This wasn't just a camping trip gone wrong, this was years of his life just gone. And the story he told when he was found? Let's just say it was weirder than anything anyone could have imagined. He claimed he had no memory of what happened, like someone hit the reset button on his brain. One minute he's going about his day, the next, bam! He's waking up in the middle of the woods years later. Some people think he just wanted attention, trying to be all mysterious and stuff. But others believe something truly strange happened to him out there in the woods. What do you guys think? Was he telling the truth, or was it all a big act? Let me know in the comments. Okay, buckle up because this next story is out of this world. We're talking about a woman who vanished without a trace. Then, just like that, she reappears, but her story, let's just say it was a little far out. She claimed she'd been abducted by aliens. Yes, you heard that right, aliens. She even had these weird marks on her body that she claimed were from medical examinations. She went on and on about these strange beings, their advanced technology, and how they took her aboard their spaceship for research. Some people ate it up, claiming she was a visionary, someone who had finally encountered the truth that's out there. Others? Not so much. They thought she was delusional, maybe even making the whole thing up for attention. But here's the thing, what if she was telling the truth? What if we're not alone in the universe? You ever wonder how people survive in the wild? Well, this next story is about a kid who took survival to a whole new level. Imagine being a young boy, lost and alone, with nothing but the clothes on your back and the will to survive. That's exactly what happened to the boy in our next story. He disappeared, vanished into thin air, and no one could find him. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. Hope started to dwindle, and just when everyone had given up, they found him. Alive. But here's the kicker. He was living in a cave. This kid was resourceful, resilient, and a little bit feral. He'd learned to hunt, gather, and basically become one with nature. When they found him, he was practically unrecognizable. He'd grown thin and wiry, his hair long and matted, his skin tanned and weathered. But his eyes held a wisdom that most people never see in a lifetime. It was like the wilderness had whispered its secrets to him. His story is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure even the most unimaginable hardships. Chapter 4. The man who said he was in another dimension. Okay, strap yourselves in because this next story is going to send your brain into overdrive. It's about a man who went missing, and when he came back, he didn't just have a story, he had an experience. He claimed he was in another dimension. I know it sounds crazy, right? But hear me out. This guy, he vanished without a trace. Gone. Poof! Like he just stepped out of reality itself. And when he came back, he was different. He was skittish, looking over his shoulder like he was being followed by something sinister. He described vivid landscapes, bizarre creatures, and a whole different set of physical laws. He said time moved differently there, that emotions were amplified, and that reality itself was more fluid, more dreamlike. Some people think he was a total nutjob, a guy who'd spent too much time reading science fiction novels. But others saw something in his eyes, a flicker of genuine fear, a glimpse into a realm beyond our understanding. Chapter 5. The Girl Who Was Raised by Wolves. We've all heard the stories, the myths, the legends of children raised by animals. But this next case takes the cake. It's about a young girl who went missing in the woods, and when they found her, let's just say, she wasn't alone. This wasn't some camping trip gone wrong. This was years of her life spent away from civilization. Years where she learned the ways of the wild, not from books or documentaries, but from the animals themselves. They found her living amongst a pack of wolves. Not just coexisting, but thriving. She moved like them, communicated with them, even ate with them. She'd become one of them, a feral child, untouched by the complexities of human society. She would stalk and hunt with the pack, her senses sharp as a tack, her instincts honed by years of living in the wild. Her story captivated the world, a real-life Mowgli, a testament to the incredible adaptability of the human spirit. It made everyone question the very definition of humanity, the boundaries between civilization and the wild. Chapter 6. The Man Who Forgot Who He Was. Okay, this next story is straight out of a psychological thriller. It's about a man who went missing, and when they found him, he didn't remember who he was. Imagine that. Waking up one day and not knowing your own name, your family, your past. It's like your entire life has been wiped clean, leaving you a blank slate in a world that seems both familiar and utterly alien. That's what happened to this guy. He was found wandering aimlessly, lost and confused. He had no identification, no memories, nothing. It was like he'd been dropped out of the sky with no past, no present, and an uncertain future. Doctors and specialists were baffled. They ran tests, scanned his brain, but nothing. Some whispered about rare neurological disorders, others about psychological trauma so severe that the mind had blocked out its own past. But the truth, that remained elusive, a mystery as deep and perplexing as the human mind itself. Chapter 7. The Woman Who Lived with a Cult. Cults, man, they're like black holes of human psychology, sucking people in and warping their realities. And the woman in our next story? She got caught in the gravitational pull of one of these groups, disappearing from her life and resurfacing with a tale that sent chills down everyone's spines. She told a story of manipulation, of control, of a charismatic leader who promised enlightenment but delivered isolation. She described bizarre rituals, strange beliefs, and a community cut off from the outside world, where everyone marched to the beat of a very different drummer. She spoke of being brainwashed, of having her thoughts and beliefs molded to fit the cult's doctrine. Her story was a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of blind faith and the seductive power of groupthink. Chapter 8. The Boy Who Was Lost in Time. Time travel? It's the stuff of science fiction, right? But what if I told you the story of a boy who claimed he got lost in the very fabric of time itself? He was disoriented, confused, like he'd been ripped from one reality and thrown into another. He kept mumbling about strange events, futuristic technology, and a world that hadn't happened yet. He described buildings that touched the sky, flying vehicles, and people who communicated through devices implanted in their bodies. Was he a time traveler, a boy who had somehow slipped through the cracks of time? Or was he just a kid with an overactive imagination? Chapter 9. The Man Who Said He Was a Time Traveler. Get ready to question everything you think you know about time, because this next story is going to bend your mind. It's about a man who claimed he wasn't just lost in time, he was a traveler, a voyager through the annals of history. This wasn't some weekend warrior with a homemade time machine. This guy claimed to have seen it all. He rattled off historical events like he was reading from a textbook, describing dates, names, and places with uncanny accuracy. He had photographs, or at least he claimed he did, showing him in different periods, rubbing shoulders with historical figures. Was he a master of deception, a con man with a knack for historical trivia, or was there something more to his story? Chapter 10. The Girl Who Communicated with Spirits. Our final story will send chills down your spine. It's about a young girl who disappeared, and when she returned, she came back with a connection to the other side. This wasn't just some imaginary friend situation. This girl claimed she'd been in contact with spirits, with the souls of those who had passed on. She described seeing them, hearing them, even talking to them like they were real flesh and blood people. She'd tell stories about the spirits she'd met, their appearances, their personalities, and the messages they carried from beyond the veil. She said the spirits guided her, protected her, and shared secrets about the afterlife, about the mysteries that lie beyond the realm of the living. Some dismissed her as a troubled child, a girl lost in a world of fantasy and make-believe, but others saw something different in her eyes. Chapter 11, Outro. And there you have it, folks, 10 weird stories missing people told when they were found. From alien abductions to time travel, we've covered it all. Which one did you find the most intriguing? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing content. Until next time, stay curious.